Welcome to the Sports Reverends pod. My name is Dan. I'm joined with the coach. Hope you guys are ready for a great show. You know, most popular podcasts, they'll give you something to take away. You know, comedy podcasts, they're going to leave you laughing. Education podcasts, hopefully they leave you thinking. You know, fitness podcasts are supposed to help you achieve your fitness goals. Money-making podcasts should help grow your bank account. On the Sports Reverends pod, we have something for you that's far more valuable than all those things. Yeah, I know it sounds like a gimmick. It sounds like that's too good to be true. But we offer a solution to all your problems. Think on that for a moment. That sounds like we are absolutely nuts. We point you to the source that will change your life. And in our podcast, we will give you some hot sports takes, but what we know as the most important thing in our lives is our unapologetic faith. Sports and faith have played a huge role in helping us through all the challenges and problems we have ever faced, and we want to share that with you. I'm Dan. I'm a pastor downtown Toronto and chaplain for Toronto Fire. That guy over there, yeah, that's my big bro. He's not only a coach on the basketball court, but also a coach in the stock market as well. And Coach, I'll throw it over to you. Why don't you give everyone a rundown of our show?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, quick hitters, as always, just start with some 5 points. We're going to talk how we did last week with our picks. We're going to make 5 more picks for you guys this week, putting our expertise analysis in there. We're going to talk a little bit of hoops. Are we going to see guys go up or down? We'll see. And number 3, we're going to pick the winners for the remaining 4 matchups. We're going to see who goes to the World ALCS, NLDS, and the World Series. And last but not least, we have the best part of the show, the Real Talk section I've titled it, Is Winning Life or Death? So why don't we get rolling when you start us off with the first quick hitter, and let's get going.
Time for some quick hitter news. Wendell Carter Jr. signs 3-year extension with the Orlando Magic for $59 million.
Alex Pereira retains light heavyweight championship at UFC 307.
Terry Francona will be the new manager of the Cincinnati Reds.
Another retirement. Unranked Vanderbilt took down last week's number 1 in college football, Alabama, who now sit at 7.
And surprisingly, Robert Saleh is out as the coach of the New York Jets. That's a lot more pressure on you, Aaron. Let's see how that goes. Before we go anywhere else, let's handle some business. UrbanHope is a mentorship program that I get to run downtown Toronto. It's a place where it's a safe place for kids and youth in a very marginalized, challenging neighborhood. If you're interested in supporting our program, where we give basically mentorship skills, leadership skills, a safe place for these kids and youth to hang out, if you're able to support us, that'd be fantastic. You can check the link that's going to be in our YouTube description. It's churchinthecity.ca/give. The more you support, the better and greater impact we can have. And we thank you for those that have supported us along the way. All right, Coach, let's go.
Absolutely. So let's start off. How did we do last week? I think we went, let's call it 1, 2, 3 out of 5 with the bonus pick of Atlanta. So we were 4 for 6. San Francisco lost, Dallas won, New England lost, Houston won, KC won, and the bonus was Atlanta. Kirk Cousins came out of nowhere and threw over 500 yards. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And quick thoughts from last week, any of those 5 that really surprised you?
Yeah, I was sweating out some of these picks here. Houston, wow, that was a tough one. I'm glad they pulled it out. They almost threw that one away. I was pretty confident in the rest of them. I'm surprised with the San Fran loss, the way they lost. You know, shout out to Kyler Murray. He had his big tight end back, and those guys, they're rolling. They're looking good. They're looking good. It seems to be that anytime there's a 7-point plus favorite, the team that is the underdog not only covers but wins. So that's been a trend this year. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, there is a lot of parity in the NFL. Okay, so for this week, do we think San Francisco can beat Seattle? In Seattle.
Okay. That's a tough one for sure. I think, yeah, there's coming off a bad loss. I think Seattle is a bit overrated. I'm down for San Francisco. So we got to choose. We're going to choose 5 games. We're going to give you 5. The Sports Rev 5, and we got to agree on them. Is the caveat? But we can. Yeah, I'm down for San Fran.
I'm picking San Francisco too. I think they bounce back. Coach Shanahan is going to have them ready to go, and especially because it's a divisional game, I think they come out swinging. So sticking with the theme of division of Arizona here, Arizona Green Bay. They're in Lambeau, but it's a 1:00 game, so it shouldn't be too cold. Over under is 49.5 right now. Green Bay is favored by 5.
And we're picking the winner.
The winner.
Yeah, it's hard to say, especially so early in the week because we don't know the status of Jair Alexander.
Right. Oh, man, I'll go first. How about this? I think it's a letdown game from Kyler Murray. I think he had a really good week. I don't think he's going to be able to translate that into back-to-back consistency. We've seen it already this year. He had a bad week 1, good week 2, bad week 3, and so on. So I don't think he's going to be able to pull out a good week 6. So that's why I'm leaning towards Arizona losing at home in Green Bay.
Did you see the fun fact I sent you about Kyler Murray?
No, I didn't.
Kyler Murray announced his Call of Duty partnership to all the haters out there. He's literally partnered now, secured the bag with Call of Duty Black Ops, releasing October 25th. This is pre-Call of Duty, so I don't know. Can we table this one if we need, and we can come back to it if we can't get 5?
Absolutely. Okay, Houston and New England. We get a bounce back game with Houston. Drake May rookie quarterback Drake May might be starting. I think Houston comes and takes this.
Houston is missing Nico Collins. They are missing Joe Nixon, but New England's really bad. I could see like New England covering the spread, but I don't think they're going to win. I think Houston wins the game.
Yeah, so we're good with Houston. All right.
Yeah, got Houston.
We are still on the Baker Mayfield train.
Ooh, so breaking news. We found out that Derek Carr is not going to be playing. Injured.
Okay. So what do you think? Is this a lock?
It's almost a pretty easy lock for me at this point. I don't even know who's the backup Saints quarterback.
I have zero idea. Yeah, that should tell us something.
Jay Hayner. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm locking in. I'm locking in with Baker. Baker, Baker had such a great game and a loss to Kirk Cousins, but yeah, shouting out Baker. I love how he's playing.
Love it. Okay, how about this one? Washington at Baltimore. I think Lamar Jackson crew are going to run roughshod over these guys.
Yeah, I think Washington, I think you're totally right, is in for an awakening. I know the Baltimore defense is putrid right now, but I really don't think, on paper, they're not that bad. They are actually decent. So I think Baltimore handles them pretty well.
All right. Okay, this is a bit of a tough one for you. I know you're not going to like this one. Detroit at Dallas. Afternoon game, 4:25 start. They're in Arlington, but Dallas hasn't looked too hot over the last couple of games, even though they've won.
Yeah, it's tough. They're missing, we don't know the status of Micah Parsons. I was encouraged. One thing about their game against Pittsburgh is that Pittsburgh's a top 10 rushing offense, and they were just smothered. So with that knowledge, you think Micah Parsons would add benefit to their continued run-stopping defense. Coach, I don't know if we're going to settle on this one. I'm not going to go Detroit.
Let's go put a pin on this one. Another tricky one. Buffalo at New York in the Monday Nighter. Do we get a bounce back from Josh Allen? Or does losing coach really fire up the guys?
Yeah, this is crazy. This is to get number 1 spot in the division right now. This is crazy. I think the Bills are in a little bit of a hurricane. Is that a bad term to use right now?
Too soon.
They're in a little bit of they're in a bad spot. And I think Aaron Rodgers coach, their defensive coordinator is taking over the realms. I think they take it. They take it. And Aaron Rodgers looks like back to being the genius that he's supposed to be.
You know what? I know I'm a Josh Allen fan over here for my fantasy team.
Wait.
I'm taking a risk. Yeah.
Before you say your answer, I'll give you an Aaron Rodgers stat that may sway you back to Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers, in his first 5 games, the Jets have put up the same amount of points last year with Zach Wilson. 93.
It doesn't look great.
Shocking. I was shocked.
I saw that stat go around social media. I'm gonna go against my boy Josh, and I think Rodgers puts on a show at home. First game, a lot of pressure on him because even though the owner has come out and said, "Hey, it was my decision," I feel like the background whispers of Rodgers and Coach Saleh not getting along are pretty accurate. So I'm going with the New York Giants.
Lock it in. No,
Jets.
New York Jets. Jets.
Locking it in.
Lock it in.
All right, those are our 5. San Francisco, Houston, Tampa, Dallas, Baltimore, and the Jets.
All right. See how we do.
I don't feel too solid about the last 2, but that's okay.
Sweaty.
That's okay.
Sweaty.
But, all right, on to my favorite part of the Big 4. Let's talk some hoops. We're going to go through a bit of a quick fire, maybe we can call that. We're going to start with the bottom 5 in each conference. And the idea is...
Walk them through what we're doing for the next 3 weeks.
We're going to go through the bottom 5, the middle 5, and the top 5. And we're going to say, are these teams, did they get better or did they get worse? And we're just going to talk about the teams very briefly. And because there's some clear winners and some clear losers, I think. And maybe we'll agree, maybe we'll disagree. We'll find out. And this is all going to wrap up to starting of the NBA season in a couple of weeks. And looking forward to having some real hoops on. Okay, why don't you get us going here with our first team?
Number 1, the Portland Trailblazers. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting any better. I think they're still wrong in all the wrong places. They're probably going to trade off some of their vets and try and allocate some assets. So I still see them at the bottom of the whole conference. Maybe even getting the number 1 pick.
I'm keeping them bottom 5 as well. And I do think Scoot Henderson does have a little bit of a uptick in his play this year. I think they show promise, but definitely bottom 5 in the West. Number 2, continuing in the West here, the San Antonio Spurs, led by Wemby. I have them making the playoffs. And CP3, as much as I'm the biggest hater for him, he does make teams better. He's got the stat that has shown the last 5 teams have gone minimum 0.2% better in winning percentage.
I agree with you. I think the Spurs are going to make some really big noise if they stay healthy. The big thing is can Paul stay healthy and Wemby stay healthy? The addition of the FIBA experience in the Olympics, I think, really has helped him grow. And it's interesting because he's not really the dominant kind of talking guy. We'll see how much he calls the ball because there's a lot of missed alley-oops last year watching on League Pass. Who do we got next in the West?
The Memphis Grizzlies.
Ooh, I like this one. This is an easy one. Zach's looked really good. Kyle's coming back. They're going to make some serious noise in the West.
Yep, I have them in bracket number 2 between that middle bracket. Zach Edey is my biggest overreaction probably is watching him in his first preseason game, and he looks like he's going to dominate absolutely crazy. So and Marcus Smart's coming back too out of him, and that team's going to be defensively good. Yeah, number 4 is the Utah Jazz.
Not super sold on these guys. Side. Yeah, not super sold on this. I know Markkanen has got paid. They have some nice pieces, but I think they're still a couple of years away from making some real noise. They need to see some added development from the rest of the team around Markkanen, and Markkanen's got to show that consistency that made him kind of the darling at the trade deadline last year.
Yeah, I'm with you. They're sticking bottom 5 in my opinion. I don't understand their future as well. So I think they're going to be bad for a little while. That's just That's just me. I don't know if I believe in those young guys that they have. And last but not least, in the West, the Houston Rockets. Okay, I'm with you. I think you're right. Some of those aging teams in the West are gonna get the steady Freddie and crew. They're gonna lose out to these guys. They're young. They're coached well, Mr. Udoka. Yeah, and they're gonna be fiery. All right, let's move over to the Eastern Conference. The lowly Detroit Pistons.
Detroit basketball remains in college level G League tier. They just can't put it together. They had some weird offseason signings. Tobias Harris doesn't make sense. Another guy who can't shoot from the outside. Cunningham is just gonna struggle and struggle hard. Yeah, bottom of the East for sure.
Definitely near the bottom of the East, in my opinion, as well. Will they pay another coach? Who knows? I don't know how many they still have on payroll. And I don't understand what they're doing either. Maybe they're really tanking for Cooper Flagg and hoping he's the answer to all. But they can't even get the draft right, like even last year. Come on. Yeah. Okay, now the Washington Wizards. I think I'm a little bit higher on them than most people. I think they're going to be in the upper echelon of the bottom tier. I think they're going to be like 11, maybe flirting with 10. But they'll be competitive. I like the addition of Jonas. I like the addition of the point guard from Portland, the backup there. What's his name?
On a blank.
Yeah. But him. Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma. I think they're really. Kyle Kuzma is going to be their starting point guard. They have some vision. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they have a nice team. Malcolm Brogdon, I think, is the guy we're thinking about.
Yes,
we're both thinking about there. Yeah, this is an interesting team. I think Malcolm's going to bring some much needed consistency at the point level. You don't give it to just Poole to do his own thing. And I think flirting between 11, 10, and 9 is where they could be. And they could make some noise and upset some of the other teams we have above them, even because of the play. So who's next?
We have the Charlotte Hornets. All depends on the health of LaMelo, which has always been in question. Every year, he's missed so many games. But when he plays, he is elite, which is just, he's a great player. So it depends on him, but I have him still their bottom 5.
I think they're bottom 5. It's a tough thing to rely on one of the Ball brothers. And while he has shown flashes, I'm not sure. He has put together some good runs. I'm not going to say he's elite until you do it consistently. And being healthy is part of that consistency piece. Bottom 5. Yeah, I don't think they're going to go too much further than that. That's for the Jordan-owned team.
The next team is not even their home team wants to watch them. The Brooklyn Nets. Oh. Absolutely bottom 5 in my opinion. Don't know what they're doing with their future. Don't know what they're doing with their pieces that they have currently. They're going to be gross. I think they might be fighting for the bottom spot.
We might be tanking for Cooper Flagg or something along those lines because there's no direction. The feeling across the league is that they're going to have a fire sale eventually close to trade deadline. They probably want to build up some of their vets to get future assets. And they tried this before, and then they swung for Durant and everybody like that. Can they build a roster properly? I don't know if there's patience enough in the organization to do that, but bottom 5 for sure.
Will Ben Simmons have a resurgence? That's what they're hoping for.
Every year there's a resurgence. But one thing that's working in their favor for Ben Simmons, he's on an expiring deal.
Yeah.
So they could bring back some bad contracts, but get some assets attached to that as well. Or they could help facilitate trades throughout the year and let's get some pieces that way.
The best thing for them is if he can show that he can play. At least
stay healthy, yeah.
Stay healthy. So, and now, last but not least, our favorite, the Toronto Raptors. I'll let you go first.
I'm not as high on them as you are. I know you're pretty jacked about what they look like. I still think they're going to flirt between 11, 10, and 9. I just don't see enough progress. I know we have RJ look good in Canada and Quickly looks good. Dick, can he provide enough outside shooting? I don't think so. Keep coming. Oh, gee. Barnes coming back. Yeah, Barnes coming back should help. And I think there's just not enough creation consistently to really drive them up the rankings.
I have them in second tier between 6 and 10. I have them at near the higher. I have them at 6 to 8 and even flirting with 5, depending on if they're healthy. I think they finally have a year ahead of them where they've signed their core. They have the proper coach that's going to have a full off season with them now, full year with them. There's no more distraction. If things start going bad, then they have a trade piece in Jakob. And we'll see how it goes. I think they're young. They're good. They're going to be exciting. And I think Scotty's got to prove something to the league.
Pace, they'll be good. And it'll be fun to watch at least.
And that's it for the first third of our segment of the NBA preview. I'm excited. It's coming up.
Love it. Love talking ball. Makes me jacked up. Let's talk playoffs right now. We got four matchups matched up right now. Quick fire. You just tell me what you think, and we'll go from there. Philly and the Mets. Who you picking?
Going Bryce Harper, Philly.
Ooh, you picking the Mets? I think I'm really hoping for a Subway Series World Series. The Dodgers or the Padres?
I'm going. Man, the Padres look good. I'm going Shohei Ohtani. I said that they're gonna win, so I'm sticking with Shohei. Shohei and the Dodgers. Mookie.
I like it. Yeah, I'll jump on that with you too. Manny Machado, I think, threw the ball at the coach the other day and caused a bit of fuffle there, but we'll see how. I think that one's going to be the longest series for sure. Cleveland and Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going Cleveland. I think Detroit's kind of made it as far as they're going to go, but what do I know?
The Mets thing got one more win. It is baseball. You never know. But yeah, I think Cleveland has too much depth to take on that. Last but not least, Yankees versus the Royals.
Yeah, my heart wants the Royals, but I think the Yankees are going. I think they're going all the way to the World Series.
Yeah, big bet. A lot of pressure on Aaron Judge. Now, a big article came out on ESPN the other day. He's been there for, I think, almost 8 seasons now. They flirted quite a bit, but they got to go over the hump because it's bust or nothing in New York. World Series pick, you're still sticking with the Dodgers?
I'm saying Dodgers over Yankees. 6 games.
I'm picking Yankees over Mets, and we'll call. Oh, I like it. 6 games. We'll call it like that. I like that.
I like it.
Oh, I like it.
This baseball playoff, and I know I usually only watch the Jays. This baseball playoffs have been very incredible. Like, it's been all-star, like, big names. You don't always get that in baseball. The Mike Trout is, he that's just how baseball kind of goes. You don't always have the best players in the playoffs. So it's nice to see most of the best players in there. It's good. It's going to be good. It's been exciting.
They talk with the most return, right? So the best performing teams. But I will say this, I think as a neutral, watching baseball and following along has been something that's enjoyable because, again, I have no stake in any of these teams, but the baseball's been good, right? And there's always been something one night that you're like, oh man, that's crazy. To keep people engaged, and obviously the big market teams are going to draw the ratings, and that's what the MLB needs. So the MLB needs
baseball atmospheres too in those cities.
Absolutely. Nowhere empty like Tampa.
Yeah.
All right, let's take care of some business. Yes, I do coach basketball, and I do coach financial literacy, we'll call it. Check us out, www.train2invest.com. It's an educational course that's going to help you learn how to take care of your finances, how to trade in the stock market, and how to have a game plan going into it. A lot of people have heard the phrase, plan the trade, trade the plan. It's a little harder to do that sometimes because there's emotion that gets involved. So what we do here at Train to Invest is we lay out an educational strategy for you to understand how you trade, understand how risk works in your life, and how maybe you're risk averse, but your wife, maybe she might be high on the risk scale. Either way, you learn how to trade based on your risk tolerance. We give you the skills so that you don't need to go to a financial planner or anyone like third party like that to handle your money. No one is going to take care of your capital and your hard-earned resources like you will. So check us out, www.train2invest.com, train2invest.com. Download the free ebook, give it a read, And if there's things you want to talk about, maybe you don't understand, let us know. We'd be happy to connect with you, either myself or any other of the guys in the business. And we look forward to hearing from you guys. So again, www.train2invest.com. All right. Business is taken care of. Now let's look at some of the kingdom business here.
Call it real talk.
Real talk. And I titled this, Is Winning Life or Death? And what we're talking about here, and we'll elaborate some different stories, is what does winning from a amateur level to the professional level look like? Has it changed over time? Has money become more of a priority? And some of the examples that we were talking about off camera, Dak Prescott, Damian Lillard, Mike Trout, all these guys have talked about, hey, I want to win as a team. I want the Super Bowl or the finals or whatever it is. That's the most important thing. That's what I play for. Yet they're looking to secure the bag. One of the knocks on Damian Lillard is he ate up so much of his cap space with his massive, massive contracts, they could barely sign anybody else. There's no way you were able to successfully build a team in Portland when he was there after LaMarcus left, after Brandon Roy went down. CJ McCollum was just another small guy. You didn't have enough space in the cap to attract somebody because let's be honest, Portland's a small city. It's not LA, it's not New York, so you have to use a little bit more money to bring these guys in and build a winning culture. Could they do that with Dame eating 40, 50% of the salary cap? Not a chance. Dak Prescott, he's going to get paid. And if he doesn't, it's a big dead money cap on the Cowboys balance sheet, which also makes it difficult for them to put a winning contender across. And Mike Trout, before Shohei, was the generational talent for Major League Baseball. How many times have we seen Mike Trout in the playoffs? How many times has he had the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? LA, you're not putting together a team. I'm going to go somewhere else. He's chosen the money. Yes, he's been injured a little bit, but we're consistently seeing athletes choose the quote-unquote bag over winning. But then on the flip side, you see somebody like Jalen Brunson. He took significantly less money, and people thought he was crazy. But now New York, after trading away Randall, they were pretty solid 6 or 7 guys, right? And guys who can really play. Shohei Ohtani, I know we disagreed a little bit, but he took less money and deferred a lot of it out, so the Dodgers don't hit that escalator on the payroll and taxes, right? So let's just get your perspective, Pastor Daniel. How has winning changed since you've grown up? You know, going from playing basketball in high school, playing for fun, watching how your favorite athletes have gone through, and how like social media and things have really changed winning, what quote unquote winning looks like.
Yeah, it's a great thought. I don't know how much it has actually changed from being a kid to being an adult. You know, it's always been about, I think at the high school level, it's probably changed a bit more. Maybe even at the college level, it's changed a bit more because there's the NIL stuff in college. Right now, it's about which college can make me the most money while I'm in college. And I get that. And I believe that they deserve that compensation. In high school, I think it's still a little bit more natural. I know there's a lot of under the table deals going on with the top tier athletes, but overall, high school I still think has the essence of playing as a team, working together. Maybe the culture of believing that your kid's going to be in the NBA or the NFL or the MLB is grown, and I think that's where things have gotten worse in that sense. But yeah, I guess overall, well, you know, I don't know. We see it more because of social media, I think, too. But overall, I think the heartbeat always has been, you know, get the money, get the fame, get the best situation for you. And, you know, even some of my best friends in high school when I was growing up, they wanted to go to a bigger, more well-known basketball school because they'll get noticed in a better way. They'll get a little bit more limelight. I'm decided they didn't go. I'm glad they decided they did not to go, because I still think they got the same amount of light the way we played together. Now, it's just such a counterculture of what Christianity believes, right? The Bible, the Christian life is so much more about serving God and taking away a focus of serving self. You're really playing for, if the name God was on the front of the jersey, that is what playing for the front of the jersey instead of the name on the back means, right? And I find it just so interesting how all these top tier athletes, like not even just Dak Prescott, the top 10 paid athletes that are greater contracts than Mahomes, are all in the same boat. They want the big money, yet they don't want the blame and the fault. And they also want it to be guaranteed. They want all so that they can, but they also say they believe they want to win. Sorry, that's the last point I wanted to say. And how do you believe you really want to win when you take up that much of your team's cap, right? There's one quarterback in the NFL that has proven that he can become Superman and help elevate his team with a bunch of street clothes players, literally his running back and the top receiver last game for them off street clothes. He elevates them to be good and solid enough to win. I don't know if that's sustainable to win the Super Bowl again, but at least there's one guy. The rest of them, they do not have that level to do that. So they don't really believe in winning with taking all that money.
I think that's a great point, and definitely with the era of social media and this culture of getting more, having more, making sure you post where your fancy trips are going and what new car you're rolling with or anything like that. It's keeping up with the Joneses, right? And even if you can't do that, you have to fake it till you make it. I've seen so many stories of influencers who will rent these planes which don't fly anymore, and they'll sit in the planes, take pictures, say, I'm going to so and so, whatever, then hop on a commercial flight, fly there, and then take something to the resort. Or they do it with the mansions, right? They take pictures of the mansions, rent it out for an hour. It's quite a lucrative business. And that's just that we're talking about, that culture of winning looks like making money. I think one we talked about was Paul and Silas, and in this counterculture of when you're quote unquote losing in life, but you're winning with God, because they were thrown into jail, right? And I mean, if I'm thrown into jail, I don't think I'm going to be cranking out any hill songs at the top of my voice during the night. I'm going to be probably in a pretty dark place, or trying to stay, in one piece. But these two men were worshiping and praising God, and that baffled the Roman guards. And I think if this whole idea, you're right, it's very counterculture of what winning in Christianity looks like. What does a quote unquote winning Christian look like, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think Paul puts it best. It's writing in the Philippians. He says, to live is Christ, to die is gain. Philippians 1 verse 21. And basically he's saying it is actually more worth for me to die. I'm in prison. He's in prison at the time. He's writing to the church in the Philippians. And he's saying, it's worth me. It would be way better for me to actually die here on earth, because I have this great reward of heaven. I have something so far greater, but as promised to all those who believe. And he then says, but I have a job here to do. My time here is not done. So even in this prison where I'm being beaten and starved and locked up in chains, I can still say, my God is king, that there's a better way for you, and that through this storm and challenge, that God's going to get me through it. I'm here for a purpose and plan. Even when I'm locked up in prison, that doesn't mean it's going to stop me from following you, Lord. And he's trying to encourage the church in Philippi to do the same. He's trying to encourage us to do the same, whatever situation is, whether you're in the mountaintop times where things are going so good. The glory is not for your riches here on earth. You give it to God, because there's something better for you in the future. Even if you're in the storm, you give the glory to God. You say, Lord, I know you're going to get me through this storm. You're going to teach me something through this storm, and it's going to help me to get to the better place. That's why you see the athletes like a CJ Stroud. He says, this platform of football is my platform to honor the Lord. I give all the glory to him, even in my success or even in my failures. That's the most important thing. That's and he tries to encourage others to follow him that way.
Above and beyond that. And there's so many examples. And I know people are so tired of it because when they talk about what they see on Instagram, it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm going to get rid of my social media. Maybe I'm going to get rid of whatever the case may be. Technical difficulties there. And I think it's a challenge for Christians, especially as you grow up. You know, you're in your young teens, your early 20s. You're really starting to enter the world as you go to university and go get to work and do all these different things. It's a real challenge to say, this is what I believe in. This is what I think is true, and making that, standing firm on your faith. I have a friend, she's starting to read the book of Job, and she texted me the other day, she's like, man, God is just taking everything away from Job. And while Satan is the one, you know, tempting Job, killing his flock, his family, whatever, it's like God's allowing that to happen. And like, yeah, he's allowing that to happen. You gotta keep reading. You gotta keep reading and get to the very end. And to all the fellow Christians out there, and my encouragement to you is, there's always gonna be times of trouble. Whether it's financial trouble, whether it is relationship trouble, whether it's health trouble. And you may look to your neighbors who are Christians or non-Christians. You may look around you to your peer group, and you may wonder, something is always happening to me, but not to anybody else. You don't know anybody else's story, really, most of the time. What you do know is you know your own story. You know what has happened in your past. You know the times where God has been faithful, whether you've been obedient or not, right? And you can look back, and it kind of ties what we talked about last week about sharing your testimony, where some people have this crazy 180 story and some people don't. But it's looking back into the past and saying, God was faithful here, God was faithful here, God was faithful here. And as you start looking at this as you pray and read your Bible and you spend time worshiping God, and you're saying, God, I'm stuck here, I need help. As you start looking through those past times, you start saying, oh, you know what? I didn't even realize God was doing this. Or any thoughts on that, Dan?
I will push back for a second here, Coach. I think if you did go to jail, or if you go through another storm, I think what you've gone through in your life, the challenges that you've gone through, have helped already build you up to be able to say, no, I'm not going to just turn away, and no, I'm not just going to give up on my faith. That's my pushback. I think when you have that foundation built, when you've experienced the goodness in your life, the God working in your life, when you can look back and say, oh yeah, I'm glad I didn't make that decision, it helps encourage you for the future. I think that's what you see with some of these athletes. Like we talked about AJ Griffin last week, how he's getting so much flack for making the decision to retire from basketball at such a young age. But I think with his faith and what he believes, it's like, this is actually empowering me to do what I'm supposed to do. You get like that inner peace, that divine peace, actually, that says, yeah, this is the right thing to do. So that's the only pushback I'll give you, because I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit.
I think that's fair. I don't think I would lose my faith in God. I think I'd be like, God, I'm going to start pumping the steroids right now for my jail term, because I need you to protect me, but I also need to protect myself. But yeah, absolutely fair. Yeah, I think when you follow what God is telling you, it's freedom. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. Because we'll wind up on this, is we've talked about being point guards. We've talked about dealing with pressure and dealing with unexpected things that come your way. And over the last little bit, man, I gave you 2 shout outs last week and this week, man. Your faith and your action of faith helps you deal with hard times. I'm not saying you don't struggle with it, but you really exemplify trusting in God for these hard things. And that's really cool. It's cool to see my younger brother do that. It's kind of weird to be like, I should follow him a little bit more because you are my younger brother. But it's a great example to just trust in God and live it through. So big shout out for that. So that's our pod for today. Like us on Facebook. For all of you old heads out there, check us out. X will be posting our links there. Big follow on Instagram and YouTube. Share the links. If you found this helpful, please reach out. If you want to know more about what you can do in your life to be more consistent, to be more in tune with God, and to really step up your relationship with God, please reach out. We love talking to you guys, and we look forward to our next pod next week. And for those of you guys who are in Canada, a big happy Thanksgiving coming up. Hope you enjoy your turkey and your turkey-induced naps. Peace.
Peace.